Okay, so today we are going to start on UI policy thing. So yesterday we have discussed about client script, what is client script, and I have showed you how we can execute client script in our system also. And now let's talk about like UI policy, and we will again see the demo in terms of UI policy. And yeah, so let's proceed further. So UI policy is also a thing which runs on client side. So this also performs some behavior or visibility of forms in the form, just like client script, how it used to be. But the difference is if suppose we have to do mandatory visibility or read only. So it is recommended that UI policy is utilized because it is the configuration thing. We don't have to script anything and performance will be better if we are utilizing UI policy and fulfilling the needs of client script under UI policy. Then it is always better to utilize UI policy. All right. So we can see we have condition and as well as execution thing like on condition side, it must be true to execute. That is the basic one, like UI policy should be active. And this is the execution part because we have client script and UI policy, both the thing. But priority wise, we can see client script will run first. So UI policy will execute after client script. So just imagine first your client script will be executed, then priority will be for UI policy. So if suppose some execution is happening on a specific field, then what will happen? First client script will run, then UI policy. So first all the configuration related to client script will run, then UI policy configuration will run after that. All right. So don't get confused in this. If you have written client script and UI policy for same specific field. Okay.
Okay.
So this is like basic thing they have provided. They have created some UI policy. Based on that, the number field is read only here, and configuration item is mandatory. If you see comparison, and priority is not visible. Priority is hidden from here. So all these three things happened because of this UI policy implementation. So now we have ability to script complex condition and execute advanced behavior. So we can show or hide section. Similar thing can be done in client script as well. We can add, change, validate data in fields. Yeah, this also can be done in both places, but recommended way is UI policy. If something cannot be fulfilled using UI policy, then you can utilize client script. So here we can utilize the power of JavaScript as well. Uh, we have JavaScript executions. Later I will show you where we can utilize JavaScript under UI policy. So now we will see how UI policy executes. So you can see we have a when to apply section and where to apply. So first of all, if any UI policy is loaded, we have to select the table. Okay, and as soon as the table is selected, you have to define short description. What does this UI policy do? You have to write some short description for this. All right. And next we have when to apply. So when to apply is like we can add the condition here. So in client step, we don't have facility to apply configured conditions, just like in UI policy. Category is software, then only this UI policy will execute, right? So this is the execution strategy, and these all details are mandatory. As soon as these details are added, we can add UI policy action here. UI policy action or UI policy related list actions. We have both the actions which we can use in our UI policy. So now when to apply, I have already mentioned. We can write the condition like in older thing we have seen category software is the condition. But in this UI policy, we will see condition is assignment group is network. State is one of new or in progress. And we have some checkboxes like it will run in global, it will apply UI policy as soon as the form is loaded, and as well as reverse the effect of UI policy when the condition evaluates to false. So here is reverse if false. So suppose if some condition is working as true, it will work. Suppose that condition is not fulfilling, so it will do the reverse effect also. This is the difference between UI policy and client script. It will do the reverse effect also. But
Okay.
in client script, only the specific script will execute. Nothing apart from that happens.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. And you can uncheck also reverse if false if you want to execute something only on condition. Nothing reverse if should work. So you can uncheck it. Okay, so now you can see run script is enabled. So now you can see there is two section, execute if true, execute if false. So both the places we have to suppose our state condition is status new. So what will happen? Execute if true will run when state is new. But if state is not new, then execute if false will work every time. Okay.
Okay.
We cannot check conditions for other states after that because already we have checked the condition for new and it will work execute if true, execute if false. And now we can see local variables are declared in a script. That is a basic thing. Like we used to declare some variable and store some value in that and then we utilize in our script, right? That is a basic fundamental thing of scripting. Now, similar to client script, we can utilize G underscore form, that is glide form, glide user, and G scratchpad. These all three things can be utilized in our UI policy as well. Okay,
Okay.
because it is client side, so whatever things works in client script, similar all the things will work in UI policy, like in terms of methods or functions, whichever we are using. Okay. And now we have some comparison with client script and UI policy. So we will see the execute on form load. So we have seen client script and UI policy both will run on form load. And suppose you have to write something on save on submit of form, then client script is the best. UI policy don't have that feature like on submit some UI policy will execute, right? So it will execute based on condition only, not on form submit. That feature we have in client script. And similarly, we have on field value change. Yeah, so this way UI policy client script both works because we don't have to submit the form. Without submitting the thing, the execution is happening. So client script UI policy both will run. And now have access to fields prior value. Prior value means old value, like we have shown we have on change client script, right? We have on
Yeah.
change script, right?
Yeah.
There we have parameters, new value, old value,
Old value. Yeah.
if you remember,
Mhm.
right? So under client script, we can get the old value also and we can get the new value also. But in UI policy, we don't have that capability to use.
Okay.
Okay, execute in list field value change. So this is about list cell edit. Okay,
Mhm.
so list cell edit will not work in UI policy. It will work
Okay.
only on client script. And I have already mentioned a UI policy will run after client script. So if both the things are written, the client script will run first.
Okay.
Okay. And under client script, it is mandatory to use scripting, but in UI policy, it is not mandatory always to use scripting. So most of the time people will just do the configuration under UI policy.
Okay.
Okay. We have some of the best practice which we can remember to work on UI policy. So first is like we have to use as less as UI policy on one table. Okay.
Mm.
Because what happens if you remember there was a checkbox reverse if false.
Mm. Yeah.
So that is a very big thing. You will understand when you will write UI policy state is new and when you will write state is in progress. So you have to be very careful about using that thing. Okay,
Okay.
either build something that way so that one UI policy fulfills all the needs or one client script fulfills all the needs. Okay,
Yeah.
because what will happen? Suppose two UI policy is written, one is on state is new, other is on state is in progress. Okay,
Mm.
and reverse if false is checked. So just imagine both the client script will run on both the conditions
Yeah.
every time.
Every time, yes.
Okay, so it will take so much of time to load your form. Okay,
Mm.
because these are client side things. So we have to create as less as client side validation or scripting. Okay,
Yeah.
server side execution is the best for most of the time, but some of the thing is definitely required on client side as well, like validations, right?
Mm.
So it's like we have to avoid it. It's not like that you can just eliminate a client side execution. You cannot do that. You will have to write client script also many times. You will have to write UI policy also many times. Okay, but when you are trying to implement those, try to see if we can utilize existing UI policy or client script. Okay,
Okay.
because that is the best thing to do as a best practice. And now under short description, we can define what UI policy does. Okay,
Mhm.
and description field mostly is not present in the form, but it is not required also much. We can set onload to false. So if you don't want to execute UI policy on form load, you can just uncheck. And we can apply the condition using condition builder we have seen already, right?
Yeah.
If suppose we are using scripting, so we can use the comment feature like we if suppose some code is not used, we can comment and we can add why we have commented this, why we have uncommented it, right?
Mm.
So that is the best practice of creating any script, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so uh yeah, so this is all about UI policy because UI policy is basically a smaller thing. So let's go to our instance. We will search UI policy will be under system UI. Okay.
Mhm.
And I have selected it. It will open all the UI policy within the system. Okay. But if suppose we have to write UI policy for a specific table. So we will go to problem table. Now we will click on new button. Oh, sorry, not new. So this is the problem table. I will just try to open in some record here. So we have this problem form and now we will try to generate some UI policy. Configure UI policy and we can click new. So what happens when we go from a specific table? We don't have to add the table. If I click on new, problem table will be automatically populated under table section. See?
Mhm.
Okay. This is the
Yeah.
short description which is mandatory, which tells what does this UI policy does. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Suppose what I will do first, uh, let me do this. Mm, let me set mandatory visibility and Mandatory visibility and read only. I will try to apply both the things. Test UI policy. And here you can see there is a condition. Okay. So I will try to add condition also. New. And now I will save this record. Okay, now you see we have two sections here. You are able to see this?
Yeah.
So now we have done with our this condition building, sort description and table selection. Now we will go to action. What actions we have to do in which field? Okay. So now you can see we have clear field value, right?
Yeah.
Now let me, what I will do first. First I will do mandatory. So which field mandatory? Okay, category field I will do mandatory. So category I will do mandatory. Okay. I will submit. Now again I will create action. For rest of the thing we have to do, keep as it is, leave alone by default. Nothing we have to do on that. And now visibility side, what we will do, I will hide this service offering. Okay. Service offering, I have done visibility as false. Now we have done mandatory visibility. Now we will do read only. Configuration item, I will do read only. Where is configuration item? Read only. Okay, I will submit this again. Now what I will do is like I have to use clear field value. So I will use description field value clear. Okay. I will click on new description. Where is the description? Okay, this is the description. And now I will do the clear field value. We don't have to add anything, just checkbox and submit it. Okay. Now we will try to see whether our script is working or not, whether our configuration is working or not. Sorry, not scripting, it is basic configuration. Now, if you will see here, nothing is working. I have to load the form. Okay.
Yeah.
See what happened. Did you see any change?
Category mandatory.
And
configuration item read only, right? Description blank.
service offering visible is false. That is also gone. Description is cleared out.
Yeah.
So everything happened with these configuration. Just imagine if you have to do this with client script, then you have to add, okay, gform dot get value state equal to new, and then gform dot set value category, set mandatory category true, right?
Right.
So you have to write 6-7 lines of code if we have to do this in client script. So just imagine what is better, right?
Yeah.
So now if so this is the new, it is working on new condition. Suppose I will open any SS1. So you will not see the change. See, you will not see the change. Category is non-mandatory, service offering is not hidden. Okay.
Yeah.
Description was already empty for this record. So nothing will work because it is working on reverse if false also, right? So everything will be reverted back. So it is working that way. Okay.
Yeah.
And now we have under script section, we have to click on run script. So this two fields will be enabled, like text editing area or script editing area. Okay. So here also we can write our script. If something we cannot apply using client script, or we have to utilize UI policy only. So what I will do now, what can I do? Okay, I will just do basic thing. Assignment group. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have things like this. Okay. Now I will try to reload this form. See, both the things will execute. Assignment group is mandatory, and that UI policy action also will work. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I open with this not new condition, you will not see assignment group mandatory. Right? So was this better than UI client script?
The limitation is there, I can say, in UI policy.
Yeah, some limitation is there, but many things we can do here.
Right.
So this is the best thing, using UI policy rather than client script. So it was easier than client script, right?
Yeah, correct.
Most of the things are configuration based, and it is really good.